And I lived in a home that was so silent about anything non-heterosexual. I didn't even learn about heterosexual stuff. I never learned what a healthy marriage looks like. Consent. It was all about purity culture. Luckily, I never dated or got married. But, I mean, I'm pretty screwed up. Not having certain conversations screws somebody up just as much as having a negative conversation. And it really does harm children to isolate them. Every time a parent opts out of educating the child will have consequences for it. Parents who opt out of sex ed, even though America has some of the worst sex ed curriculum in the world, because not even 25% of the states require teachers and parents, or even curriculum, to be factual. And I'd say less than 22% actually include or require consent, bodily autonomy. Parents can indoctrinate children through ignorance and control of information. My parents sure did. And it's not usually insidious. They're not keeping their kids away from information and education because they want to keep them ignorant. It's because they fear that this curriculum is harming the straight family morals. And it's fine. If you hold views or you believe the best option is to be straight, it's not a healthy point of view. You can believe whatever you want. Just don't teach your kids that. All family units are equal, and they should all be considered equal. As long as everybody is loving toward each other, kind, and as long as teachers have professional boundaries and teach factual information, that's not grooming, that's educating. And until we actually educate our children, who will later grow up and educate their children, we're going to constantly be electing incompetent, racist, sexist, homophobic leaders. And one's in the White House right now. And it's very terrifying. But religious groups will always teach drag queens they're predators because they're inspiring kids to read, not to be abused. They're teaching kids tolerance in education, and a tolerant, educated child is less likely to be targeted by predators. If someone tries to touch a child and the child knows that this part of their body is not appropriate to be touched, and they say that, they're less likely to be harmed than someone who never has a talk about abuse or a talk with their parents about what places are acceptable for an adult to touch and what places are not. Parents can't protect their children until they teach their kids to protect themselves. And knowledge is power. Knowledge is worth money. That's why education is so expensive. Knowledge and critical thinking are so important. And I find it to be utterly immoral, even as an atheist, utterly immoral for people, groups, conservative Christians. It is hypocrisy to groom kids and get them while they're young by Sunday school, church activities, Bible studies, educating them in the Bible, isolating them, indoctrination and then say, you are preying and indoctrinating our children. Maybe the reason they know what it is because they do it, but I doubt it. It's hypocrisy to indoctrinate your kids and then accuse educated teachers of doing the same. Teachers don't have time to have agendas. It's not professional to have agendas. I'm a medical professional. I don't have time to have an agenda. And having an agenda hurts relationships that have power imbalances. You don't bring your own beliefs or your own agenda into a classroom, because it doesn't serve everybody. Teachers teach the facts. Anything else, and they deserve to lose their license. As long as teachers are professional, teach facts, and inspire students, they're not preying on kids. When they stop having professional relationships with professional adult and child boundaries, that's when it becomes predation. But parents who indoctrinate their kids with religion need to stop screaming groomer, because the pot calling the kettle black isn't helping the situation. You can't accuse one person of what you're already doing.